How's it going, everybody? It's the spiciest meme on the internet, Taco Tuesday, bringing you some cringe videos, and today we have, once again, another solo base. So I haven't done this one for 2 base build episodes, so I'm gonna call it a while, so don't bitch on me. So in this first room we have 1 large chest, 1 sleeping bag, and a cupboard. So in this little pocket, if you didn't know, that I like doing overlapping foundations. So you'll be surprised to say that this one's actually kind of easy, so you won't have to find a really flat spot, so that means that you can do it on a hill. So in that little 1x1 underneath the half foundation is a few chests, 2 large chests, 2 small chests, and a lantern. So these campfires I wanted to be a little more accessible so it doesn't get as cramped, and you can access them through the low wall. So the one to my left isn't accessible just because I didn't have it stick through enough, so when you're building this, just make sure to keep that one in mind. And yeah, I just like doing that. I would like to have my campfires accessible through the main loot, because that's always nice. So up this ladder hatch we have 3 small chests in which you can store some of your resources, in which I recommend, because in one small chest you can have your stone, the other your wood, and the last one you can have all your metal and your sulfur. So in here, this little pocket, we have 3 furnaces, 2 small, not small chests, but large chests, and it just adds to the storage. So typically when I play solo, I don't really have to have that many chests, but if you're that type of guy, you might want to have a little more chests, so that's why I left the ladder hatch open for you to add more. So if you didn't notice that I put lanterns in all the rooms, so I recommend doing this just because lanterns aren't as strong as they used to, and it's just always good to have them, especially at night when it gets really dark. So these sandbag barricades act as your roof camping needs. Not that I'm recommending you to. Let's just put it at, so if somebody's trying to harass you, you can use these to your advantage. So here are 45-degree barricades, and if you don't know how to do these, you kind of just use a low wall. So I will show you that in the base build if you don't know what I mean, and just let's keep watching. So through here, down here, we have a small chest in which you can easily get out, just because it kind of gets a pain in the ass to jump through that little hole. And yeah, so here we have our little shooting ports, which I thought was a really convenient spot, because if you put the doors down, it won't really affect the honeycombing if they raid it. So that really works in your favor, so you have these little shooting ports. One thing that really does get annoying is when they kind of decide to keep opening it and closing it just to piss you off, so you might want to have barricades below these windows just so they don't do that, because it does get annoying when people just try to purposely annoy you and get on your nerves. So it is symmetric on the other side, so here once again you'll see these similar shooting ports, and it is still easy to get on that roof, so I try to make it really maneuverable throughout the base, just so I don't get any frustration throughout the video and people, you know, commenting, "Yo, Taco, you're a bitch." So that's pretty much it, guys. Let's move on to the pros and cons of the base. Alrighty, so for the pros and the cons, I'm going to start out with the cons. So this only holds 1 person, and going off from this, that means that it's going to be kind of hard to hold 2, and it's going to be easy to be harassed when you're solo. So I mean, this more falls under like the cons of solo in general, and you're also going to be a big target having a solo base, so that's probably the only cons. This really doesn't generalize, or this really just generalizes solo bases in general, so that's the only, those are the only things that I can come up with, other than that it's a solo base and it's kind of easy to raid. So now for the pros. So obviously this is going to be really cheap, and in fact, if you're to add all the barricades, it only costs 15k stone, which is actually really good. So if you're to add everything and you have everything in there, that's going to cost about 20k, which is still actually really good for this type of base. But other than that, it's compact, it's easy to set up. You'll see in the base build that the foundations aren't that hard. You don't have to have any specific spot, you just kind of have to have it a hill in general. It's expandable, meaning that central 2x1, you can start off with that and then expand into the honeycombs. So lastly, it just suits the casual playstyle, meaning that you can easily get this done as a solo vanilla player. Personally, this is what I would use if I was a solo vanilla player. I've had used bases like this in the past. So anyways, guys, let's move on with the base build. Alrighty, so I'm going to make a little change to my editing, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have 1 clip of just building, and if you want to slow it down, use the gear icon on the bottom right of your video screen, and from there you can adjust your speed of your liking. And the reason why I'm doing this is just because I feel like it would be easier to watch, and So anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and peace.
I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow.
How can someone who has no interest in music own a record store?
Give it up, yo. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't. Don't wanna borrow, have it today, give you back tomorrow. Your love is my love, there's no love for nobody else. Don't wanna borrow, I want your love, don't wanna borrow, I want your love, don't wanna borrow, I want your love, don't. I want your love, don't wanna borrow, I want your love, don't wanna borrow, I want your love, don't wanna borrow, I want your love, don't. I want your love, don't wanna, I want your love, don't wanna. I want your love, don't wanna.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Is that you? Would you do that for me again? Because that's a wild sound. Give me a whole run on it. Give me a few runs on that thing. That is wild. Where did you come up with this idea?
Nighttime, the right time for kissing. Nighttime is my time for just reminiscing.
You were just sitting around one day and decided maybe I can make music with this thing,
There's no one unless that someone is you.
I see. Well, you come up with a great sound. This next thing is called Fire Engine. I have a feeling maybe you have something to do with that.
I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't. I want your love, don't wanna borrow. I want your love, don't wanna borrow.
How can someone who has no interest in music